I decided to make a quick video about gym etiquette when it comes to using power racks, especially if you're in a commercial typical gym that has a lot of exercise machines and only one or two power racks in the whole gym. One is if you want to do bicep curls, I'm going to suggest don't do it in the power rack, because the bicep curl, you're generally going to use a lot less weight than someone who can squat or someone who's going to do heavy rack pulls. Even if you are bicep curling more than 135 pounds, and even if you're doing a cheating reps, you don't need a power rack to get the bar up. If you need a power rack, you shouldn't be lifting 135 pounds, because you should be able to pick it off from the floor. I remember a few years ago when I was working out, there was a member who wouldn't share the power rack, and when I found out what he was using it for, it did not make a good workout day for myself. He was using the power rack to hold the barbell to do upright rows, and he was only upright rowing at most 100 pounds. I don't do upright rows myself, but using an upright row to do 100 pounds on a power rack is ridiculous. You should not be using a power rack to hold weight if you're doing bent over rows. If you are using the power rack to rest the weight on it so you think you won't injure your back, then you shouldn't be doing bent over rows, period. If you can do bent over rows with a certain amount of weight, you should be able to deadlift that weight up easily, or do a pendlay row. You can't pendlay row more weight than your deadlift. It's almost impossible to do it. Using the rack to do a full range Romanian deadlift. If you're doing a Romanian deadlift, you shouldn't be able to use more weight than if you're doing a conventional deadlift. So if the gym is busy, I wouldn't recommend you use the rack to do Romanian deadlift. Because if you're having problems picking up the weight, then how are you going to Romanian deadlift properly? Because Romanian deadlift is supposed to be a hip hinge exercise. It's not supposed to work out your lower back primarily. So what exercises I find acceptable in the commercial gym, especially when you use a power rack? Heavy variations of squats, or if you're doing really heavy rack pulls, or cheating shrugs, power shrugs. Those ones will benefit from using a rack, because you're going to use a lot more weight than what you can pick up from the ground. If you want to squat like 200 pounds, for a majority of people, even myself, it's very hard to put that behind your head from the floor. It would be socially acceptable and following proper gym etiquette to use a rack for that. Doing heavy rack pulls is questionable, because although you need a rack to do the exercise properly, and you're using it for the right purpose, most people in a lot of these typical gyms don't understand the benefits of doing heavy rack pulls above the knee. I do my rack pulls at home so I don't have to worry about taking up all the weights. I don't care if it looks like an ego exercise, or it looks like I'm doing a cheating exercise, even though it's not. But I also feel obligated to share the weights as well. So if you want to do heavy rack pulls in a commercial gym and you can't find a way to do it in your own place, I would say the best time to do it is early in the morning when it's not packed, or you just have to find another time in the gym, whether you go to a 24-hour gym or work out in the evening when it's less busy, and you can grab most of the plates. Bench pressing in the power rack when there's actually specialized bench press equipment in the gym. Whether that's following proper gym etiquette or not, I'm not really sure. It depends on how much weight you're bench pressing and what type of benching you're doing. Do you need to bench off safety pins because you are trying to improve your bench press off a dead stop? Are you trying to improve your lockout strength? For most people, I would say if there are bench press equipment available in the gym and you're using the power rack to do a bench press for a full rep. I find that's not the following proper etiquette, especially if it's busy. Especially if the bench press equipment is free to use.